businesses are now sending their goods through ports on the West Coast. Here in New York, there are some 100,000 containers that are piled up along the port of New York and New Jersey with no one to unload them, and 35 more ships, we're told, are set to arrive next week. One restaurant owner in Baltimore says the strike is cutting into his business twofold.
When they're not bringing money in and they're not getting that paycheck, obviously they don't have the luxury of going out to eat. And just yesterday alone, we saw our lunch sales plummet by 60% because they weren't around. Oh. The other side of that, unfortunately, is going to be continued inflation.
Now, as these protests from Baltimore to Texas to New Jersey continue, pressure is ramping up on President Biden to step in and enact the Taft-Hartley Act to end this strike immediately. President Biden so far says that's not happening. Writing in a statement, quote, collective bargaining is the best way for workers to get the pay and benefits they deserve. I have urged USMX, which represents a group of foreign-owned carriers, to come to the table and present a fair offer to the workers. John, J.P. Morgan estimates that this could cost the economy $4.5 billion a day. This is just day two. One other thing. They are a loud group, but it's only a few dozen. About 150 of these union workers who are supposed to be out here today are actually unloading cruise ships. They say their intention is not to hurt people, which is why they're unloading those cruise ships and not striking during that time. John.
All right, Brian Yanis for us in Brooklyn, New Jersey. Thank you. Did I say Brooklyn, New Jersey? Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, sir, so much. Appreciate it. Jillian?
All right, now joining us is Stu Leonard. He's in Norwalk, Connecticut, as I understand it. His grocery store is a staple of life for people across New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. Stu, I understand that for the most part, you guys think you're going to be okay in the long term because you source most of your products locally, and then you guys also spent a lot of time and energy stocking up on your imports from overseas ahead of this strike, which is great.
Yeah.
Tell us where you are now, and then tell us how you think other folks who were maybe not so well prepared are going to manage going forward over the coming days and weeks.
You know, we've heard about this rumbling for a couple months now, okay? So you really had a decision, do you want to buy in extra? And we did that. So we have plenty of product in the store. I want to just assure our customers, we get 100,000 customers a week coming through Stu Leonard's. We are going to have full shelves just like we did during the pandemic. A couple items are a little stuck right now. I'll give you an example. This is Gulf shrimp right here from right off the coast down in Florida. Okay, that will not be effective. Okay, but here's a bag of imported shrimp that we're getting from Peru right now. That is floating out on the water right now in a container. And so what we'll do is a little bit of supply chain gymnastics right now, which is we're going to make sure we get plenty, and we have plenty of the local Gulf shrimp from Florida. So we're going to have to bob and weave a little bit during this time. And I just talked to our importer this morning of shrimp, which comes from South America right now, that area. And he said he was paying 10 cents a pound to get it transported up to the store. This morning he had to pay 22 cents a pound. And if this strike keeps ongoing and he has to divert maybe up to Canada or, as you mentioned, the West Coast, it could go up to 30 or 40 cents a pound just for transportation. And that's an extra cost for customers that are coming up for the holidays right now.
Tell me about this shipload, a container shipload of marinara sauce that you guys have floating out lost at sea somewhere. I'm very concerned about this, Stu, as the 7 months pregnant lady. That's a lot of like spaghetti and meatballs marinara that we could be eating.
Well, we have this on the water right now, which is our marinara. We get pasta in from Italy. It's the same thing. That's floating out there. Champagne, that's probably most people for Christmas and New Year's is when this is big. And so we got that floating out there. So we're hoping that all of these things will be resolved. But you know what, Jillian? I was talking to my cousin unloads product out in Long Beach, California. And he said this morning, it's not so much the containers that are stuck on the water, but we also export a lot of stuff. So there's a ripple effect. They reuse these containers again to fill with U.S. products to ship back out to Asia and South America. So there's a ripple effect that is going to clog up the supply chain.
Well, Stu, thanks for taking time out to talk to us during this crisis. Big fan of your stores, and we'll stay in touch with you over the coming days.
Thank you. Okay,
John.
Both shelves. We'll figure it out. We'll have both shelves. Thank you, John.
Good for you.
All right, looking forward to that. October.